My son Abhiram, he's 7 and he learns at home. Yeah, you heard it right. He doesn't go to a school. I see a couple of surprised faces here, and I see the same surprise when I talk to a lot of parents. In fact, the conversation with parents goes something like this. They ask the usual question, ki, beta, which class are you in? And he replies very curtly, I don't go to a school. And then they turn to us, like, he's 7 and he doesn't go to a school? The impolite one says, like, why in the hell? And the polite ones ask like a series of questions. And the questions are like, how will he get his 10th and 12th certificates? For somehow that's the prime concern. Some of them ask, what about his subjects? How will he learn his subjects? His geography, his science, his history, chemistry, how will he learn them? In fact, some of them sympathize with us and ask, do you guys have a financial problem? Like, some of them ask then, how will he socialize without school friends? Some of them ask like, what about his college, his job, his career? So there are various questions. What I do, I normally flip the question to them and ask them, why do you send your kids to school? And the answer usually is like, that's the way it is. Like, you take birth and you go to school. Like, that's the part of the life cycle. And then I give them these 10 reasons that why no school for my son. And I want to share those 10 reasons with you. See, to my mind, in a school there are two components which contribute to learning. The curriculum and the teacher which is transacting that curriculum, right? But are the best brains involved in creating the curriculum and transacting the curriculum? Maybe let's do a show of hands. We see brilliant people here. How many of you are dying and aspiring to become school teachers? I see no hands. How many of you after XLRI want to join Jharkhand State Board or NCRT to make books for kids? I see no hands. So when best of the brains are not involved in curriculum making or in teaching, then why to settle for mediocrity? It may sound harsh to my school teachers, but yeah, but that's the reality. See, a child spends almost 8 hours in a school, and then to clarify the doubts, he spends 2-3 hours in a tuition center. And when he reaches class grade 10, he reaches Kota or one of these coaching malls, right? So when the real learning is happening anyway in the tuition centers or one of these coaching malls, then why are we spending time in school? See, you know, from grade 1 to grade 12, if you calculate the time, a child spends almost 20,000 hours just for that piece of paper, the certificate. And if certificate is the fixation, there are various other ways. You can learn wherever you want, then you can get your certified through NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling, or a Cambridge board, or there are various other ways, right? Lot of parents fear that without a certificate or with the certificate being homeschooler, will the colleges take him? In fact, it's the other way around. Now homeschoolers are a preferred candidates for a lot of Ivy League colleges. For homeschooling has almost become a pathway for Harvard. And in fact, I know personally various students in India who were homeschooled and then headed to a Harvard or MIT. This girl Malvika, very known famous name. She was in Delhi, homeschooled and finally studied in MIT. In fact, even if you don't have that piece of paper which you call a certificate or a degree, now companies are ready to engage with you. Many companies are dropping requirement of a degree in the selection process, and even Apples and Googles of the world are coming forward that we have a selection process, even if you don't have a degree, we don't mind. So the topic of degree is settled. Let's see what happens in a school, right? If you see a school spends almost 90 to 95% time in something called a curriculum, for them the real subjects, right? And 5 to 10% time on extracurricular, they call it extracurricular. I challenge any of you that go to a Lata Mangeshkar or a Sachin Tendulkar or a Amitabh Bachchan and tell them, guys, do you know, you guys is such a waste, your life is based on extracurricular, right? But why can't we have a school which will teach me singing the whole day or dancing the whole day or cricket the whole day? Why can't we have schools like that? See, the problem with schools is that they have regimented everything for you. Monday to Saturday, hour by hour, everything is planned for you. Teacher and only teacher will decide what will you study, how will you study, when will you study. So let's say if you take a typical day, a timetable, on a Monday morning, school starts, let's say Hindi class. So the Hindi class starts, teacher starts with, let's say Ramdhari Singh Dinkar, famous poem Rashmi Rathi. Varshon se van mein ghoom ghoom, badha vigno ko chum chum, and the poem is going on. And the child is enjoying it, child is enjoying the vocabulary, the rhythm, the story of it, and he wants to be with the poem. But no, the new teacher will come in 30 minutes and she will say, no, apples are falling, Newton uncle is seeing, you have to study the science class now. Okay, somehow he's settling with science now, okay, it's happening, but again 30 minutes are over, a new teacher will come in again. Brutus, thou shall study Shakespeare now, how can you not? And now he has to study English. So this may sound funny, but this is very sad that in the process we are taking away the joy of learning. Child cannot decide what he wants to study, how long he wants to study, when he wants to study lying, sitting on the desk. In the garb of discipline, we have taken the joy of learning from the child. And then this is the ugliest part of the school, which I call punishment, marks and rewards, right? It's still physical punishment, and shouting at our children is very rampant in schools. And believe me, it takes away the dignity of the child. And then they have this instrument called marks. Marks is nothing but stigmatizing your mistakes. So 0 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 5 out of 10, you are failure. And to perform good, they have an instrument called, they have to bribe you. Like, okay, if you come first, you will get an award or 1 star, 5 star. Can't a child learn just for the joy of learning? Can't he be away from the stigma of marks and this bribery of incentives, right? But if you see this in this timetables, in this punishments, in this marks and rewards, school is achieving what schools wants to achieve, which is I call a factory model of sameness, right? See, every child is different. Even twins of same gender are different. Their learning needs are different. Their learning pattern is different. Their learning pace is different. But for this factory called school, everything is same. They do a same processing with every child so that a sameness will come out of it. See, so by this time into the conversation with the parents, I lose many of them, but some of them do hear and they say, okay, this all sounds okay. But the crucial question is that without school, how does Abhiram learn? Right? And that's my favorite part. And I tell them the disclaimer that Abhiram doesn't do anything for learning. He does a lot of things for fun. In the process of learning also happens. That's like a bonus. So here I start. So let's say he does a lot of chess, he does Sudoku, he does Rubik's Cube, and that's kind of take care of his maths, logic, aptitude. Though we don't map it this way, but parents only understand learning in terms of subjects. So that's why I map it with some subject. His visit to science centers, his visit to daily visit to parks, takes care of his observation, his science. He's quite fond of going for trekking and jungle walks. And at the age of 7, he can identify multiple leaves, insects, animals, trees. And if you see on the right side, what he's doing is making seed balls. That's a very advanced technique of gorilla plantation. I never knew it when I was in school. In fact, I never knew it a year back. And that takes care of his, if you say, botany, biology, right? He loves books. We go to a lot of book fairs. 3-4 years back, we started reading for him. We started reading English for him, Hindi books for him. My wife reads Telugu. We started reading books for him. And one fine day, we realized he's reading himself. We never taught him formally. At his English book, he's reading himself, right? We travel a lot. He has been to more than, I think, a dozen Indian states, from Kerala to Kashi to Prayag. And that kind of takes care of his sense of history, geography, understanding diversity of food, clothing, culture, right? He loves camping, and he loves this part that how to manage those 5-6 days in those minimal resources. I don't know which subject he learns there, but he enjoys it. And now because he has a lot of extra time to do a lot of extracurricular activities, so he does a lot of them, right? He draws a lot. papers after papers. Luckily, no walls yet. And he draws lying, he draws sitting, standing, right? And he keeps surprising us every now and then. Like from last 1 year, he started drawing these cartoon strips on his board, and he has this now comic book he's making. He helps us in cooking sometime. He wears on some dress and do role plays. He does skating, football. At times, he fiddles with violin. He plays with a DSLR camera. In fact, recently my mom came and he pestered her and started learning knitting. She's learning knitting based on knitting. I don't know. I can't comprehend that. See, and the last question, and this is how he's learning, right? And the last question, and most troubling for most of the parents, is that without school, how does he socialize, right? See, I tell them, we are only unschooling him. We have not started living in some caves in Himalayas. We are still around, there are people around, right? And in fact, because he doesn't have a school, he doesn't have a timetable, so he goes to all the marriages, all the mundans, all the birthday parties, he has all the time and always have fun. So that's not a big problem. In fact, in his school, or he got a classmate in his school or in his home school, our younger daughter Nakshatra, and he's helping us in parenting her. In fact, we learn how to parent her now. He keeps giving us tips, right? So these are the reasons. And if you see his learning journey, I'm sure you will realize he's not learning alone, right? He's with many communities, many groups of, in fact, different age groups, right? See, if you keep all these 10 reasons aside, if you keep all the logic aside, all the rational aside, what I see him that he's very happy. He's enjoying his life. And along with him, we all are learning a lot. And for that simple reason, no school for my son. Thank you.